Good evening. This is Janara Hooks on Women Empowerment, and this week we have Melanie, Miss Melanie. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you introduce
Wonderful.
yourself to the audience, please?
My name is Melanie Chavis. I reside in North Carolina and I'm 47 years old.
Okay, so you're a self-made chef. Can you explain what exactly is a chef is?
Well, basically, you don't have to. I went to culinary art school, but due to personal reasons, I never finished. And it basically is just a person who has a love for food, and that can create their own dishes. I haven't had any training, so everything that I do, it comes from me, recipe books, looking at stuff on television, and constantly, staying in tune with my craft.
Okay. Did you grow up in the kitchen, or just kind of learn how to cook yourself?
So basically, I grew up in a house with two amazing cooks, my mother and my father. But my father he was more into it than my mom. He was a really awesome cook. And it's crazy because my dad never allowed us in the kitchen while he cooked. So basically, stuff that I learned younger was from smell and taste.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dunn, North Carolina.
Can you tell us about your upbringing and childhood?
Um, well, thank God I came in a two-parent home. My childhood was basically like any other childhood, but the one thing that did keep us together, um, basically was food. It's crazy because I didn't even know that, some people would say poor or whatever. When I was young coming up, I didn't even think about being poor. I guess I never thought about it because it was always a hot meal on the table. I never had the experience going to bed hungry. You know what I mean? My parents, they kind of kept that stuff shielded from us for the most part. I mean, as a kid, stuff that you're going through, but when home is being made a home, then you don't really realize some of the things or issues that your family is really dealing with behind closed doors.
Did you always know that you would have a career in cooking, or did the opportunity just present itself?
I actually didn't. So, backstory, my mother was a cosmetologist for a lot of years. She had a salon. I started cosmetology school when I was in the 10th grade, taking night classes. So, by the time that I was a senior in high school and getting ready to graduate, I was also getting licensed as a cosmetologist. And basically, I took on that. My mother had a salon, it was a thriving business. My sister was in hair as well. And at the time, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I hadn't really thought about cooking that much. I think my love for cooking kind of kicked in after I had my daughters. It wasn't too long after then. I mean, I've always had a natural thing with cooking. I love trying stuff. I think that I have a pretty good palate. I was always in using different seasonings, going to different stores, Indian markets, and getting different stuff and trying it. So I think I've kind of always been a little in tune with it, but it didn't start out that way. I started out as a cosmetologist first.
Do you do anything else besides cooking?
Um, I cook. I do CMOS right now. I also work with adolescent kids. So I try to stay busy for the most part.
So you opened a restaurant, but it's closed. Can you get into that?
So basically, a partner of mine opened up a fish market. It started out as a fish market, and then we were able to get the licenses and everything to switch it over to where we could cook hot food. Now a lot of things, one of the things that I've done for years is I've helped different businesses. I go in kind of help revamp businesses as far as their customer service, their back of the house, their kitchen, line cooks, and things like that. So that's kind of how I got in that situation as well. A partner of mine needed some help in the business. So I went in with him and was trying to help build it up. But unfortunately, he had health issues. So he ended up having to close it. That was the only reason, nothing bad, and along with me running my business and the other things that I have going on, I just couldn't help him keep it open.
So you run a catering business now. What
Yes.
exactly is a catering business, and what foods and service you offer?
Um, a catering business is you cook meals for people. Some people like private chefing, doing different events, things like
Foods. Foods. But I think it serves internet.
Y'all on the internet? They off the phone.
662 compound. On the beat.
I don't know what happened to it.
It's okay.
Um, I was asking what type of food do you for your catering business do you offer?
Um, I do a lot of soul food. I do cook Chinese food, Jamaican food. I try to pretty much recreate anything that I put my mind to. If it's a menu that someone wants to be fixed and they let me know, um, then I try to put my spin on it. Give them what they want, but put my spin on it.
Is it hard being a female black business owners? Can take you? Can you take us through?
Um, I'm gonna tell you the one thing that I think that I struggle with in the beginning, and it has nothing to do with clientele, or customers or whatever. I think the hardest thing that I dealt with was getting out of my own way. Um, in a lot of businesses, I guess when you can say, small businesses are starting out, that a lot of people sell themselves short. They sometimes lowball themselves, because they think, oh my God, if my price is too high, people aren't going to buy it. If my price is too low, people's going to think it's not good enough. So I think that was one of the hardest things that I dealt with, was getting out of my own way and telling myself, listen, you're good enough for this. Your food is good enough for this. And, charge what you're going to charge, do what you're going to do, and don't think about it.
How was the transformation from a hairdresser to a chef?
Um, it wasn't even so much as once I learned that I was, in love with cooking and doing recipes and food and stuff like that. It wasn't really a hard transition. I one day was sitting down with my mother. Well, I actually ordered this cookbook, which is still like my cooking Bible. It's called For the Love of Cooking. I still have that cookbook. I still open up that cookbook and go in there and look at recipes. Um, so when I got that cookbook, I started trying recipes in that cookbook and basically testing my skills, cooking stuff for my family. And then I started getting into it a little more. And as I started watching Food Network and all these other channels and getting into stuff up there and looking at different chefs, it kind of sparked something in me. And I guess along with the fact that with my dad, like I said, we couldn't be in the kitchen. I had to learn food um, and recipes and stuff, and especially his stuff, just by smell and taste. But it wasn't a hard transition at all.
Can you
And
give
it's
us some?
probably been one of the best things. I'm sorry.
I said, can you give us some words of empowerment to all the women who have either started or thinking about starting a business?
Um, just be ready to fail. Not in a bad way, but it's gonna come. I think that if we go ahead and let ourselves know ahead of time, listen, everything is not gonna go smooth. You have days where you make a lot of money, and then you have days where you make little to no money. And that's in a small business, of any business, any kind of business. And you have good days and bad days. So I think just be willing to fail. Don't get discouraged. Don't think because something is not going right today that it's not going to go right tomorrow. Keep God first, because he is going to get you through everything. Prayer does change a lot of things. Be faithful. What you do and what your craft is, always hone into your craft, always stay up on your craft. Because if you don't, you'll lose it. I try to stay in recipes, looking at different recipes, trying out different stuff, seeing what'll work and what won't work. um and just even with any business, like I said, just stay diligent and do what you have to do. Don't let nobody discourage you, because what God has for you is for you, and nobody can take that from you. um God instills gifts in everybody, and your gift will make a way for you, and you have to believe that. So when you're discouraged, just look at it as today is today, but tomorrow is a new day, and you just have to keep going.
Do you have like a signature dish or a favorite dish you like to cook in particular?
um No, not in particular. I can't even really say um a particular dish. I have little stuff I like to make for me that, it just is comfort food to me. I like to make dips, and I like to do different jalapeno poppers, but as far as dishes, I really don't have anything that I particularly like to make more than anything, because once you're in the business for so long, you make a lot of the same things sometimes, but as far as a special dish or something that I really really like, I don't have a particular one.
What about the support from the community, especially us Black people? Because how is the support from the community?
Support is amazing. I hear a lot of people say, it's never going to be your friends and your family who support you. People always say that. And it's not true. I thank God that I can say that, because I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I sold food there. And when I moved back home, um, I can actually say that my hometown has been awesome, as far as supporting me in my business. But I also think that you get back what you put out, and that's in anything. I try to make sure that I support people as much as I can. If it's no more than just sharing your posts, or telling somebody, hey, I know, a young female who has a podcast and she does awesome on it, and she's speaking on women empowerment. I try to make sure that I'm giving back with helping and building other businesses as well.
What's your most ordered dish?
um I do sun-dried tomato Tuscan chicken pasta. I do cornbread bowls, which you make the little pans of cornbread and then you top it with the meat and the greens or whatever. I do a pretty good amount of those. Um, and that's, I guess, probably a lot of soul food. I do a lot of soul food, and I'm blessed because I can say that every time that I do cook or whatever, I sell out. So I thank God for that. So, so I really couldn't even particularly say which one, I make the most off of or sell the most of, because I do sell out every time I cook. So it's a blessing.
Many people have food allergies. The elderlies can have too much salt, things like that. What's the most difficult catering order you ever received?
Um, hmm, let's see. It wasn't difficult. I had to do a prom for a couple, and the lady who was in charge of it, her brother was gluten free, so it wasn't too much of a that I had to alter. I just had to get them gluten free pasta, and the stuff that they could eat. Just a pasta change. I haven't really, honey, ran into anybody who, as of yet, except for that says anything about allergies or whatever. But I do try to let people know, what is in it, or describe it for the most part. If it's anything different in it, I try to put it up there and let them know that it has peppers or onions. I get one guy, poor thing, he don't hardly eat any vegetables, so I have to try to alternate something for him, like make sure he has mac and cheese or mashed potatoes and gravy or rice and gravy, because he's not going to eat any greens. um but that's probably about it for right now anyway.
Do you see yourself opening another restaurant in the near future?
um I have kind of at this point went a little bit big. I do have something in the making right now that I'm working on. My main goal right now is not only myself but other small businesses or people who are trying to get into the restaurant business. I'm trying to create a space for us, and I think when you're in the food business, we probably our cost is higher just about than any small business that you could think of. To me it is, because you put a lot of time and money into stuff that you get, and it's hard for small restaurant owners or businesses who do cook food to find a space that's affordable, as to where they can have a space to cook and be able to make money and not go in the hole. So right now I'm working on a space for that, like a commissary where
Can you
small
speak?
businesses. Go
Wait,
ahead, baby.
when
Go
you can
ahead.
finish.
You're good.
Oh, can you speak words of empowerment to the young women?
Um, I just want to tell all the young women out there: believe in yourself. Trust your ideas. God doesn't plant gifts in us that He's gonna provide. Um, Stay strong. Don't let nobody discourage you. Work hard at what you want to do, because I promise you, nobody's gonna give it to you. And the thing about it is, every day you have to do something in your business in order for your business to keep going. It doesn't mean that that you have to have everything together right now. Even at my age of 47, I still don't. I'm not gonna say that I'm not where I want to be, because I'm not putting myself on a time schedule, if that makes sense. I used to do that and it used to drive me nuts. I just felt like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be this age and I'm not doing this. I'm not in this place, I'm not in that place." And I just want to, let young ladies, gentlemen, whoever know that just because you're not in a place right now doesn't mean that you won't be there tomorrow. So don't rush yourself. Take your time, hone your craft, work in it, and just be diligent in what you do, and always put God first. And you have
What
to
else?
be good to people.
That's it.
Hmm.
You still talking?
No, baby.
Oh, that was the last question. I enjoyed this interview with you.
Well, I enjoyed you as well, and honey, you're doing really well, and I think you're gonna do great in the future. And just keep building your audience. You're gonna be amazing. And you ask pretty good questions that doesn't make the interview, feel like you're just kind of sitting. So you're doing awesome as well. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome.
You're welcome as well, baby. Have a good night.
You too.
662 compound.